friends, it is time to bust another myth. Planned Parenthood would never exploit women, and their employees are trained to identify human trafficking victims. Planned Parenthood practices tolerance, so much tolerance, so much so that they forget to protect their clients. Planned Parenthood is an asylum for traffickers. It's easy for them to bring in their victims and cover up the crimes of their perpetrators. Remember, there's no judgment here. Planned Parenthood proudly supports sex work. It's part of the My Body, My Choice mantra. In a study done by the Beasley Institute at Loyola University in Chicago, they found that Planned Parenthood was the top most visited clinical treatment facility besides the ER. The reason? Well, they didn't ask any questions. And this is true. We didn't ask any questions when I worked there, and they still don't today. In recent years, Planned Parenthood was exposed in an undercover human trafficking investigation and then publicly pledged to retrain employees on how to identify and report potential sex trafficking. But instead of training their employees on this important intervention, according to a former clinic manager, Planned Parenthood simply used those meetings to teach its employees how to avoid being caught in future hidden camera investigations. At checkmyclinic.org, we have uploaded inspection reports where departments of health went into Planned Parenthood, looked at medical records, and found that sexual abuse of minors was not reported. In one Planned Parenthood facility in Mobile, Alabama, the staff failed to report the sexual abuse and neglect of a 14-year-old girl who came in for an abortion. She already had 2 living children at 14 years old, but no report was made. That same girl came in just 4 months later for another abortion, and no report was made. There are several documented cases in California, Florida, Colorado, Ohio, and other states of young women who were brought into Planned Parenthood clinics by their abusers for abortions, and no one asked any questions. Instead, they sent these young women back into the grip of their perpetrator. It is hypocritical that Planned Parenthood considers itself a champion of the Me Too movement when they have been a premier partner of the Women's March. The Women's March has openly criticized the seizure of Backpage.com, claiming that it was a safe place for sex workers to safely get in touch with their clients, despite the fact that they facilitated the sex trafficking of children. Before its seizure by the FBI in April 2018, Backpage was responsible for 73% of all child sex trafficking reports that the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children received from the general public. On the International Planned Parenthood Federation website, there is a page under Stories where the Federation pledges their support for sex workers. One quote from a woman who has been sexually exploited says, "Who has the right to judge? For many sex workers, it is a set of circumstances that has led them to where they are. Turning them away is not an option when it comes to receiving care." We understand that the circumstances that lead women to this kind of victimization are complex. But caring for women is not giving them an abortion, handing them condoms, inserting an IUD, and saying, "Carry on, no questions asked." The evidence is clear. No matter what city, state, or country, upwards of 90% of sex workers have histories of childhood sexual abuse, untreated post-traumatic stress disorder, and are disproportionately persons of color from lives of poverty, including homelessness. If this isn't exploitation, then I'm not sure what is. Real, individualized, person-centered care is what you deserve, and you won't get that at Planned Parenthood. Their tolerance has blinded them to the pain and trauma you're experiencing that goes far beyond an STI or an unplanned pregnancy.